Welcome. It is our monthly webinar at Company Cam. We are back. It's another month. And today we are talking about local SEO with Justin Silverman, the founder and CEO of Merchant. And by the way, real quick, Company Cam has a new integration with Page, which is brought to you by Merchant. And we're going to talk about all these good things. I want to get through a little housekeeping, house cleaning, one of the two. Justin can correct me if I'm wrong. Number one, we have the chat, and that is as you are logged in, you will see that on the right-hand side or on your screen as the webinar chat. Remember to put to everyone when you're sending a message. That way, it's not just going to me or just to Justin or to somebody specifically. It's going to the whole group, so we can all kind of see your question and make sure it's working. To make sure that part is working, dive in and tell us where you're coming in from, whether you're coming in from the United States, outside the United States, like myself here in Nebraska. Just drop it in the chat to everyone and say, hey, I'm coming in from here. That way we know the chat's working, and make sure that to is to everyone. This is Company Cam. This is a webinar. Also with Company Cam, I want to mention really quick, I am the co-host of the Good Contractor podcast, where we are talking about talking with contractors, hearing their stories about how they do good work and what makes being in the trade so damn exciting. If you want to check out the Good Contractor podcast with myself and Company K CEO Luke Hansen, you can grab that on YouTube. Just look up Good Contractor podcast or wherever you get your podcast. We're in the middle of season 2. Very exciting stuff. Okay, without further ado, we have Justin coming in here from LA. So again, drop a line in the chat. Tell us where you're coming in from. Make sure to is to everyone. Justin is the founder and CEO of Merchant. Like I mentioned, Company Cam now has a new integration with the heart of your business, which is Page, and that is the first fully customized or automated AI local marketing manager, which is super cool. Justin's going to talk about Merchant. I'm going to give the floor to you. Tell us about Merchant. Tell us about Page. Tell us about your business. And remember, today, everybody who's joining us, we're talking local SEO, how to level that up, optimize your Google business profile. But Justin, just wanted to say welcome, and I'll let you kick it off with an intro.
Cool. Hey, John, thanks so much for having me. Really honored to be here. So, a little background, Merchant only focuses on helping businesses get customers from Google Maps. It's all we do. It's all we've ever done. It's all we will ever do. And the reason that we focus on Google Maps is because it is by far the best place for any local business. And when I say local, I mean a business that needs customers from their local area to get customers. Because once you're on top of Google Maps, in the top 3 position, you are just getting leads every single day and you don't have to pay for them, right? It's better than pay-per-click ads where you're paying, $100 just for a chance to get a customer. Instead, you're ranking where 90% of people are going, which is Google, where 85% of people are clicking, which is in that map pack area. And then 74% of the people will actually call and buy something from one of those customers within 24 hours, right? So like you have a crazy motivated customer. And so for 6 years, we've been building tools that help contractors and other businesses get more customers from Google Maps. And Page, which is the product we're talking about, is the fully automated platform that takes everything an agency would have done and bundles it into this fully automated platform. So yeah, I'm really excited about the integration with Company Cam and how it just upgrades the whole system.
It's very cool. I know we're going to run a poll here real quick. And by the way, thanks for letting us know that the chat is disabled. We're getting that re-enabled now. So when it does, feel free to chime in where you're coming in from. But one of the things, and we are going to run a poll on this about, do you post to your Google business profile right now, which is the good one. But on that, I think one of the more interesting things is everybody looks at Google business reviews as, well, this is the place that customers are giving feedback on the work that I've done. And I don't necessarily, people think that it's also a place to post photo and video updates to your profile. It was one of those things that when I first started using it for my own, small side passion projects and stuff for doing guitars and things like that, I was like, oh, this is beyond just, oh, let's get some reviews. Can you talk about maybe one, how often you should be posting photos, videos to that profile, and the importance of that when you look at like optimizing your Google business profile?
Yeah, sure. And well, what I would say is you should look at a Google business profile almost as like a micro website because the majority of people now are clicking on Google profiles and learning about the business through the reviews and the images and the videos rather than going to a website to do it. Right. And so you're right that it used to be just for reviews, but now you're really educating consumers about your business. And one way that consumers want to learn about your business is by looking at the pictures and the videos that you've uploaded so they can get a really good idea for like what to expect if they were to work with you. The other reason why it's important, and you always have to think like, what am I doing to appease potential customers? And then also, what am I doing to appease Google? Because ultimately, you need Google to be happy with your business to show it to potential customers. And one way that Google learns about what your business is about and how active and popular you are is by analyzing the images that you upload to your profile. So if you upload a picture of somebody painting a house, for example, Google is going to realize, okay, this company is a house painting company and they took this image in this part of Earth. Therefore, we should show them to more people in this area that are looking for house painting services. There are a lot of really good examples where somebody showed a service in an image that they didn't mention anywhere else on their website. And when somebody types in that service into the search bar, because that image was on the profile, Google actually showed the business because that educated Google that, oh, this business does that. And
Mhm.
so, images are really powerful for those two reasons. You're training Google and customers.
How, I guess, with that, and just a quick reminder, there is no chat today. I think we're having a technical issue, but the good news is we do have the Q&A feature here, so we can still get those questions asked, and I can pass them along to Justin. Um, could you talk about, I guess, with that, why it's important to like geotag the media you're uploading and making sure that everything you're putting out there is optimized and discoverable by somebody who's looking, at your business, or I should say, looking for your business to help them solve a problem?
Yeah, and I think it's a really good question for contractors who sometimes don't have a place that like an actual office that they registered on their Google profile because Google needs indications of like where a business operates, right? You might say that you operate in like these 50-mile radius, but until you have like points of proof that you actually do, you're probably not going to actually rank on Google for those. And so geotagging images, for example, will tell Google that, okay, this photo was taken, 20 miles outside of Chicago. Therefore, they operate there. Let's start to show their business to more people in that area. The same goes actually for reviews. Google pays attention to where somebody is located when they leave you a review, and getting more reviews in those areas that you want more customers from will help you get more customers from that area. And most phones will actually geotag the image for you when you take it, which is amazing. And if you don't have your GPS settings enabled on your phone, you definitely should. But that's why our page product will also geotag images automatically in case there wasn't one detected on the image.
Andrew asked a great question. What if your territory is in a different county to where you live? I guess what considerations do you take when it comes to both the geotagging that may automatically be happening from your phone versus where you are, et cetera? Like what considerations do you take when you're looking at, kind of handling something that's away from where maybe your business is located?
Yep. So what you'll want to do is make sure that you're not just geotagging your images for those areas that you want to rank in that are further from where you live, but also make sure that you're mentioning those other cities in your content, like your Google Business posts, your Q and A's, and if you can get people to leave those cities in reviews as well, that'll help. Because basically, you need to educate Google that I'm here, but actually my activity is over here, and so you need images geotagged there, you need reviews from there, and you need to mention that city in your content.
It's interesting. I was going to share the results of the poll that we had, which is pretty cool. Do you currently post to your Google business profile? 37%. Yes, I do it myself. Another 37% no, which is interesting. And then coming in second with 20% is yes, but they use an agency. And then 7% said yes, someone on my team does it. Um, so let's talk about just reviews in general. Um, and we're gonna have some more polls here, but like obviously to increase your results and your ranking and how you show up, you need people to actually do the reviews and like be participating in that. So can you just let's just back up for a second. Can you just talk about the importance of earning reviews and that whole process and what it does for a business?
Yeah, well, it's huge. So Google has, hundreds of millions of businesses on their profile on their platform, and they need to get some validation that the businesses that they're showing their customers, their users, searchers, are the right businesses. They're not going to scam people because Google will look bad if they're introducing you to bad companies. And one of the best ways that they can determine who a good company is and how liked they are is by your Google reviews. And it used to be that if you just had a bunch of reviews, more than your competitors, you would show up number one. And about a year ago, maybe a little less, they updated it to really only care about the reviews in the trailing 90 days. And
Mm.
so what we're seeing is that, if you were resting on your laurels because you did an amazing job with reviews 3 years ago, it doesn't matter for rankings anymore, right? You just constantly need to be getting reviews, which is why some people might get frustrated that their competitors who have way fewer reviews are actually ranking above them. Um, and then on top of that, reviews educate Google on what your business does. And so if somebody, let's say you're a fence installation business, and somebody leaves you a review that says, ABC Fencing is the best fencing business in Miami, the next time someone types in best fencing contractor in Miami, Google is actually going to surface your profile near the top and highlight that review that has those similar keywords to what the searcher looked for. And so again, it's educating Google on what you do, and it's giving them the validation that you're important, or rather that you're trusted and popular.
I think one of the things that I've always asked, and I just had a fence done at my house, and I was really just the work was incredible, and I really wanted to give a review. And I've thought about this. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, from pool cleaning to office suites. I mean, you name it. And it's funny in that I've always wondered this question: do you give customers a boilerplate or at least the beginning of a here's how I'd like my review to start? Because we're talking about keywords and we're talking about things that we want people to hit on. But how far do you go there versus now I'm telling someone how to review me? And there's that internal battle of what's too much, what's not enough. What would you say to that?
Yeah, we go all the way in helping someone write a review. So, so our review tool, it'll ask the customer, of your business what they like the most, and it might say quality, speed, price, communication, professionalism, whatever it is. It'll create a set of categories, and then when they click it, it'll actually write a review for them that they can then tweak and then easily paste onto your Google profile. And so we found that that will increase the number of reviews that a business gets significantly, because the number one reason why people don't leave reviews is because they don't know what to say. And
Mm.
so we solve that problem for them. And yeah, you can just ask them to scan a QR code when they're right in front of you after you complete a job and say, hey, do you mind just mentioning I did a great job? Um, but that'll only go so far. And so rather, if you give them like an actual thing they can easily post, you're far more likely to get a good review.
We threw up a poll, and this one was what percentage of your customers end up leaving reviews? And it looks like uh, we got 25%. It looks like is the winner. So one out of four seems to be most common here, um, which is really interesting. Okay, so we want to make things easier. We want people to do these reviews. How can contractors automate this process? Like, because I think that is the biggest bet. It's like I can help somebody who wants to do the review. I can send them, but like, how do I automate this to make it as seamless as possible to maximize my chance of getting not just quantity of reviews, but recent reviews and getting people to actually take that extra 5 minutes to do that? If you were going to walk them through that automation of the process of requesting reviews, what would you say?
Yeah, I would set aside maybe 30 minutes and just really think about your operation and at what point you're in front of your customer, they're the happiest, and you can ask them for a review. And for, let's say, a house painting business, that's going to be when you walk them around and show them your work. before you send them the invoice, right? So get a QR code on your clipboard, all of your field reps clipboards, and ask them to like bring up that QR code and have their customer scan it right after they show them the work, and just say, "Hey, do you mind leaving me feedback?" Because that's when they're their happiest. Do that before you ask for payment, because nobody is that happy. Doesn't matter how great of a job you did. When you hit them with that payment link, they become a
Ugh.
little bit less happy, right? So take those 30 minutes and just think, okay, how can I automate this, inside my current operation, so that like it's not forgotten, it's not looked at as a headache to have to do on top of the additional work, right? And so if you have that opportunity to ask your customer in person when you're right in front of them, then do that with a QR code, or you can use like a little tap card to make it easier. And really ask them to do it in front of you. It can be a little awkward, but it's worth it. um, I like to look at every review as though it's worth an additional customer, because it kind of is, right? And so if you think it's
Mhm.
awkward, just think to yourself, okay, our average customer is worth $750. Is it worth $750 of awkwardness for me
Mhm.
to ask them for a review? And the answer is usually yes. You can also look at your like booking tools or invoicing systems and your email signature, and add the link or the request there. So that's just kind of part of your process, but that's never going to get as good of a result as just asking them when you're right in front of them. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Sydney asked, what review questionnaire do you use? How do you attach that to a Google business account?
Um, if I understand the question correctly, so we have our own built tool that will ask the customer how happy they are, and then we'll generate the review, and then it'll redirect them to your leave a review box on Google. So it's kind of a step that's added ahead of your Google profile, that you would send like our link to your customer rather than the Google link.
Got it. Let's talk about these keywords for a second, because I think this is really, really important. And I wonder if, well, I guess there may be, I don't want to make assumptions. Maybe a lot of people are thinking about keywords and they are thinking about how important those are versus just the if the review is positive or negative. But number one, what types of keywords are important? You use like the example of best this, and that could show up in that locale. But is it quality? Is it location, the neighborhood, the development, the type of work? When you're looking at types of keywords, let's start there. Which ones are the important ones to prioritize?
Yep, I would. I mean, I'm a fan of, if you're going to go for it, like be the best. And so I would go for the most important, like the biggest, shortest keywords in your industry. So if you're a house painting business, go for house painters. If you're a fencer, go for fencing contractor, fencing company. And then naturally you'll want to put in city modifiers afterwards. And so our page product automates this entire thing. You don't really even have to think about it. But if you're going to manually ask your customer for a review, you're going to want them to mention like the perfect review would be something like, this fencing contractor was extremely professional, reasonably priced, and and it was great to work with a local, fencing business in Miami, right? Just something short, very casual, and hits a couple different keywords, including the city.
Um, can I ask that this is again, I'm gonna go off script. This is just me being curious. Like if part going back to that, we want to like request that people are doing it. We want certain keywords to be used. Like, how much is the awkwardness of like prioritizing? Hey, leave me a review. If you could also, you know what I mean? Like, I guess how often do you say it's $750 worth of awkwardness to also request a couple keywords in there? Like, I guess how do you like how do you balance that out when you've talked to contractors who are really looking for things like we'd love for our reviews to include this and this and this, and how is that
Yep.
gone? I'm just curious.
Yep. So, a lot of contracting businesses that I've spoken with, they'll incentivize their reps to get certain keywords or their name
Okay.
inside the review, right? And so, like, they might pay
Yeah.
$50 for every review that meets certain criteria. Again, our review tool automates that entire thing, so you're really just asking for a review, and then provides that keyword rich review for the customer. Um, but again, the biggest reason why people don't leave reviews is because they don't know what to say. And so you can almost look at it
Mm,
like you're doing them a favor. You're asking them for a
sure.
review. They're like, I don't know what to say. And then you're bailing them out of that issue by giving them what to say.
Good
So
point.
yeah.
Good point. Yes. Make it easy and everybody wins. Um, let's talk about merchant and page and the new integration with Company Cam. How does that, especially from a photo perspective, because we're talking about photos and video and having that in your Google business profile, just talk about like that integration of being able to send the photos from your Company Cam account to page getting those to the Google business profile. Like, talk about that integration from your perspective and how this helps that process.
Yep. So one of the most important things that a business can do to rank higher on Google Maps is just provide constant photos and videos to their profile and then use those in other ways, right? And one of the amazing things about our integration is that Company Cam, because of you guys, has such amazing photos that are in there that we can then bring into Page. And so the general flow of how we use the Company Cam photos is that as you upload photos into Company Cam and apply a label to it, um, it'll then get automatically brought into Page, and then Page will drip these images onto your Google profile every couple of days, rather than like putting 10 on today and then forgetting about it for 6 months and doing 10 again when I remember it. So instead, Page is going to drip them onto the profile over time. It'll also optimize them for keywords in the file name. It'll geotag it if it wasn't geotagged. And it'll write a meta description that's using your target keywords, right? So we really optimize these photos before putting them on Google. After that, Page is going to write a Google Business update with that image as the media for that post, and it's going to then write it and put it on your Google profile. And if you want, it can also go to your Facebook page and your Instagram page. And so Google now looks at your social medias, and so Page will also publish that content to your socials. And then it'll use it one more time by creating an automated video. And so Page will take those Company Cam images and stitch them together into a slideshow video with some narration, and then we'll upload it to the media section of your Google profile, as well as upload it to your YouTube channel. And so we take the images that are in Company Cam and we apply them every single way that we can to all of your local marketing channels, just to show Google your business is legit. This is what they do, so that they can then show you to more people that are looking for whatever it is that you offer. So yeah, we take the images from Company Cam and we really put them to work.
Um, we had a question that a couple of them I wanted to get to. One is, should I go back and reply to old reviews? This is a good question about um because like this goes along with another question I have just about frequency. We've heard before certain people are like, if there was a lot of reviews and then they just stopped and it's been like 6 months, some people wonder like, ooh, what happened when that review last occurred? Uh and is that a big deal? And then how old is so old? Like if you've answered every review on there, but you got one from 3 years ago, and you're like, oh, should I go back and answer that? Like, what are your thoughts on the frequency and the timing, and then how old is too old to go back and say something?
Yeah, it's the how old is too old question is really personal preference. Some people want to just like leave them alone and not like, talk to it, because the customer will get notified that you replied to it, right? And so you have to think, okay, do I want them to get this notification? Um, I don't think that it's neither good nor bad to reply to a review that's years old, because really Google's looking at the most recent information on your profile. But anything that's within the last 6 months, I would probably go back and just clean up, because those are the reviews that customers are most likely looking at, and they're going to want to see if you're responsive and how you reply. And then as far
Yeah.
as getting new reviews, we like to set a threshold of saying you should get at least one a week or four a month, right? Like you
Okay.
need to constantly give Google these positive indications to stay at the top. So yeah, at least one every week.
Jim asked, what are some examples of how we can leverage our company cam content for enhancing our Google business listing? We talked about photos and obviously video, but I mean, if there were certain ones, and I guess that is another question, like, are there certain photo types that you find, let's say somebody was doing HVAC or somebody was doing plumbing and it's more of a internal thing that may not be as easy to see as say somebody that was doing fence, and it's out in the full sunlight, are do you get penalized for ones being not as clear? I guess what kind of content would you encourage to kind of enhance that Google business listing?
Yeah, across the board, like organic, real images taken from a cell phone are gold, right? Like it's so easy to create AI content and use stock images. So just providing any photo taken from your phone of your business is like a huge win, right? And then if you want to look at like now the best practice for that, you want to make sure that the image um, somehow is related very closely to your business. For example, if you're let's say an HVAC installation business and you upload a picture of a carpet cleaning because maybe you've done a carpet cleaning job as well, like that is actually going to hurt you because now Google's going to be like, wait, this is a carpet cleaning business or an HVAC business. So
Mhm.
make sure that your images are like very clearly related to what your business does. And then if you are using the company cam page integration, we will provide that context to Google of what the image is in relation to your business. Um, so yeah, just take photos that can somehow represent whatever it is that your business does, and don't worry about, it shouldn't be grainy, but don't worry about like, is this professional looking? Because the
Mhm.
answer is organic, real photos win.
Jim, follow up with that. Are before and afters, which obviously is part of company cam to do before and after photos, are they a good, does that play well from a Google business perspective, or is it more show me the finished product type thing?
I think they're great. Yeah, I really like the before and
Yeah.
afters that Company Cam makes, and I think it really allows a consumer to realize like, okay, yeah, like these look great. I've seen a lot of house painting examples um, where it showed like a not nicely painted house and then the finished product. And I think that does a much better job than just showing a painted room. So yeah, I would
Right.
definitely sprinkle those in every now and then.
Caitlin had asked the question about would it be possible to offer, or I think she's asking if they filled out a review, then they were able to easily add photos of their project at the same time, or is that possible without them signing into their own Google account? My assumption is you'd have to be signed in, obviously, to your own Google account to add photos of the project that was completed. So I think, I mean, that's kind of the answer I believe there that to Caitlin's question. Um, I was going to ask about that. How much weight does Google give to the customer? Because I always find it interesting on anything I buy, whether I'm having it's a service or something on Amazon or something where it's like the photo of the actual product in their hands. How much weight, let's say I had two companies that have, semi equal amount of reviews, but one has more customer submitted photos to the project versus just photos that I'm putting up. How much weight does that help in terms of just Google or discoverability, or does it, or is it kind of all thrown together?
Yeah, no, it's awesome if you can get your customers to actually upload an image because again, Google is just trying to figure out how loved is this business, and the
Mhm.
more indications you give them that your customers are happy and that these are real reviews, which people can't fake these images on reviews, the better result you're going to get. So yeah, the harder it
Right,
is, the more powerful it'll be.
right. Okay, last question for me. It- I'm always curious about uh, when it comes to the actual kind of review process. Um, there's always been this belief of if a company has 100 reviews and they're all 5 stars, that there's almost a skepticism of the customer that there hasn't been like one bad experience. Have you found that company business profile can be too perfect to be believable type thing?
Yeah, actually, so the really cool thing about Page is that we're able to track millions of data points across the thousands of Google profiles that it manages. So imagine like you have one person that's managing thousands of Google profiles and constantly learning what's working and what's not, and then feeding back the data. And so we just reran our data analysis and found that 4.9 and 4.8 are ranking higher. There is a very perfect, and you actually want to get a 4 star every now and then.
Mm.
That said, ones, twos, and three stars can set you back 90 days in ranking. So you don't want to tank your five with a one. It's better to sprinkle in a four every now and then.
I was always curious because we've asked, and some people are like, I don't know, some of this looks too good to be true. But yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure. This has been fantastic. Number one, we have dropped a link in the chat to check out Merchant and Page and to learn more about Page. And we do have one last poll that we're fitting in here as well. So check that out. But you can email BD at merchant with a Y.com with any questions. And yeah, it looks like we got to everybody's questions that we've had so far. Um, yes, to somebody that asked earlier, we will have a recorded. Oh, we do have one more question, real quick. Okay, before I get to the last question for Justin, I will say we are going to have a recorded version of this that will be up on our YouTube page. For everybody that signed up for the webinar, we will email out that link as well. But if you can't find it, we will have it up on YouTube, so you can gather all the great stuff that Justin had talked about. The question is, what is the most appropriate location to put the keywords in the Google business profile? Oh, it looks like we lost Justin. Well, we lost Justin. We will get to that question. Real quick, I just want to mention to everybody that we do have the website up there, merchant.com, merchant with a Y, / page. And to learn more about Page or email, it's bd at merchant.com. Check out the Good Contractor podcast, hosted by myself and Luke Hanson, the CEO of Company Cam. Everywhere you get your podcast, there's Justin. He's back. I had to fill a little time. It was like radio filler from back in my old days. I was going to say, sorry you got booted. But the question is, where's the most appropriate place to put those keywords in the Google business profile? Is it the actual reviews? Is it in there? So welcome back, and I'll let you finish with that one.
Yep. So you want to sprinkle it everywhere, and I'll go into detail. The most important place will be people saying it in your reviews. You want it in your Google business profile description. You want to make sure that you have services that mention your keywords, and make sure you have at least 22 services on your profile. We find that that's kind of the sweet spot. And then those service descriptions should also have those keywords. On top of that, use them in your Google Business updates, and then also in your questions that you can also ask on your profile. So you can power up that Q&A section of your profile if your customers don't ask. If you have a keyword in your business name, that's the most powerful thing you can do, but don't go and try to add a keyword to your business name, because that'll quickly get you suspended. Yeah, keywords are very important to teach Google of what your business actually does.
Love it. Justin, did you want to say anything else about Merchant, about Page? I let everybody know about the website, how to get more information. BD at merchant.com. Obviously, merchant with a Y, merchynt.com. But yeah, I'll give you the floor to talk anything else that I may not have covered or that you wanted to add about Page.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I would say just try it out. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get it fully set up. And as part of that process, it'll actually show you how well you're currently ranking around your city. And then also we'll do a complete optimization of your profile. And so, inside the first couple of minutes of that, you're basically going to get $500 worth of like GBP optimization, and the trial is only $1. So it's well worth it. And yeah, you can see how powerful the integration is between Company Cam and Page.
I'll tell you what else was well worth it, was having you on this webinar. This was fantastic, Justin. I know we had a lot of great questions, and I just want to thank everybody for coming. Again, check out the Good Contractor podcast on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. We do have the website for Merchant to learn more about Page, or to email with any questions there in the chat. And again, we'll have the recording of this sent out to everybody who registered and up on YouTube. Justin, thank you so much. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks for having me.